All right, we almost ready. I'll send you the link. Hold on. You gotta share it. Oh, wait. I'll wait till you get set up. So this is bullshit, yo. Facebook got me on a crazy day, yo. All right, let's see, let's see.
Nope, I still ain't get no drink from you either.
Yeah, they must not be letting me do nothing. They probably already know to play. Like if somebody on the page, they just gonna add somebody else and let them post. But we taking everything away. So
I got the YouTube joint.
all right. So save it, tag me in it like you're with me, and then
Well, share it to my page, right?
yeah, share it on your page, and then we'll share it on the Indio page, the Indio Media Group, John. It's wild, man. Yo, to anybody watching right now, we gotta go through a little hoops today because I'm suspended from our normal platform. So bear with us. We're gonna get the show started very soon. Pop something in the chat. We're live on YouTube. I can't even tell folks. Yo, this is whack. Yo, this is whack. I'm gonna ask somebody else to share it too, yo. All right, let me add the tag. See, they'll let me add the tag. I just can't say nothing, like nothing, share nothing. I can't do nothing.
Did it go through?
Yeah, it went through. All right, so I should be good there. All right. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna look at your post. You good there? All right. We'll edit most of this out. Let me go to your page. There we go. Damn, I can't even do nothing. Yo, this is corny, yo.
Gotcha. Well,
I'm asking C right to share it.
it's the home. He was.
Oh, it won't even let me share a YouTube. There we go. All right. I'm explaining to see right what happened. I'm like, this shit brazy. All right. You ready?
You ready?
All right, let me make sure. Move the mic closer. There we go. Yo.
Yo.
We are. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 9 of the Pick and Roll podcast. It's your boy Chris, and I'm with my man Super Dave. Super Dave, how you feeling?
Everything is everything.
As a Chicago Bulls fan, how are you feeling?
Big win against the Celtics last night, baby.
That's big stuff. Big time. Big time.
Without Zach, big win.
Oh, without Zach too?
Yeah, Zach got the he and the health and protocol.
Oh, the health and safety protocol.
Yeah,
All right. So what's the word with Vucevic? What was his stat line looking like last night?
29-9.
That's solid. That's solid, man. He's going to put in that work, man. I really hope. I really do want to see Chicago in that play-in tournament.
Yeah,
I think it's going to make things very interesting. I don't want to see that every year, but I do want to see teams like Chicago get in there. Teams that have stars that need elevation.
Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about this last podcast, but you had Mark Cuban and Luka complaining about the play-in tournament. How do you feel about that?
I see where their beef is, because with the play-in tournament, you're awarding bad teams.
Yeah.
So, what's the cutoff? 8?
Yeah.
And then now with the play-in tournament, you're adding 2 more teams, 10.
Right.
So now you go like, this regular season, I could be mediocre and then still have a shot to get to the 8th seed.
That's true.
Which is corny.
And I see that point of view, but also it rewards a team that's struggling and could possibly fall out of that spot due to injuries or due to COVID.
Yeah.
So, if God forbid Luka Doncic catches COVID in the last 2 weeks of the season, they might be able to hold water until he gets back and steal a play-in game, or get Luka back just in time for the play-in game. So it could work in your favor and work against you.
Yeah, his beef is, what are they 7 right now?
Yeah.
Now they get to that play-in game, they could play Golden State.
Yeah, but
then,
that's who's good. That's where your team is in the West.
Right. And then you playing Steph, who's like out of this world hot right now. And now you a 7th seed, just lost to a 10th seed. So now you're done.
Well, Luka, if you want a max contract, the best way to get it on your first big contract is to beat Steph Curry in this play-in game.
Or get out of that 7th seed. And then you don't have to play in the play-in.
See, that's why I don't like the complaint. It's if Porzingis was healthy and the Mavericks were playing well, I don't think they would have that complaint, especially if they were at 6. They don't release that statement. Mm-hmm. But the fact that you're at 7, I would say, look, if I'm a team that believes in myself and my roster,
mm-hmm.
I don't care if I'm going to play the Pelicans first round. I expect to win that game because it's me. I'm Luka Doncic. I have Porzingis. I have Wesley Matthews, and I got veterans.
West with the Lakers.
West with
Tim Hardaway.
Tim Hardaway Jr. That's what it is. Yeah, Matthews was there last year. I'm sorry. Wasn't he there last year? Okay, last year I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Tim Hardaway Jr. You got a couple young guys on the bench that can ball. I'm saying, give me the opportunity to knock off a lesser team in this playoff series, or this one game playoff. That's
mm-hmm.
it. Like, if this is what we're doing, I want to be in that 7th spot to catch that 10 team. So I don't really understand the complaint. I mean, and then Golden State's beatable. New Orleans is beatable. Who else is down there right now? The Grizzlies. You can beat the Grizzlies. Yeah, just do what you did. And if I'm not mistaken, Luka's been beating these teams all season. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's just a matter of put your head down and handle your business.
I'm gonna try to see who's in them spots.
Yeah. Who's in those spots in the West? And I mean, it's really just about the right to get smoked in the first round anyway at this point, when we're talking about the West.
10 is the Spurs.
10 is the Spurs.
10 is the Spurs.
You can beat the Spurs.
Warriors at 9. So it would be Mavericks will play the Spurs, and the Warriors will play the Grizzlies.
Yeah, and what is it? The Pelicans are 3.5 back.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see Zion either, but that team is not really complete enough that where you should fear them.
Mm-mm.
There's not a lot around Zion and Brandon Ingram, So I don't know. I don't like the complaint. I thought that's, good old Euro player complaining. Game's a little too tough. Things are hard for me. I just think it's a little bit cowardly on his part. Let's talk about your Yankees real quick, man. What's going on with the New York Yankees, the evil empire?
Next question.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about the Seattle Mariners. I want to give a round of applause to the Seattle Mariners. We're in first place so far. You know what I'm saying? We got a young
10-4.
roster. The rebuild is in effect.
10-4.
Yeah, 10-4. We just took out the Dodgers last night.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. That was a
Yeah.
big win. You know, we've been having a lot of timely hitting. We're starting to manufacture runs really well. And if our pitching can just hold steady, I think we have a real shot to make some noise.
Yeah, if y'all could like keep this going,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and be in contention for something. Trade deadline, I can see y'all getting an arm or two.
Yeah. I could see an arm. I don't want them to do too much because we now have the #1 farm system in baseball. I don't want to mortgage that.
No.
I don't want to give up young arms. We've done that too many times and it's not worked out. It's never gotten us to the playoffs. It only got us to contending for the playoffs. So, and what you want to do, you want to get these players used to carrying that weight.
See, since you got like one of the top farms, if I have to break that up, I want a pitcher that's kind of young,
Yeah.
and under team control.
Yeah, I don't want a 34-year-old pitcher.
Or no rental.
Right.
So, you know what I mean, that's the only way that I would break up my farm system.
You only get a rental in baseball if you're already, a World Series contender.
Right.
I want us to continue to let these kids develop. Seager, I'm glad he's the veteran. He's batting really well. I'm enjoying it, man. I'm enjoying it. They're fielding well. It's good to watch, especially when I can catch them.
Yeah, keep it up because the AL West is very winnable.
Extremely. The fact that we took that series from the Astros speaks volumes to
Yeah.
where we feel we are
Yeah.
and the confidence of our team. Because, the Astros, they've been a thorn in everyone's side, but especially us. The Astros, usually when we play the Astros, you're chalking that up as a loss days in advance.
Yeah.
What's up with the Orioles? They're hot to death, man.
They ain't gonna keep it up.
You don't think so?
No, it's only because the Yankees started off slow.
Yeah.
I mean, the Red Sox are not that good, and the Blue Jays is iffy. So, I mean, once the season starts to really get into gear, when the Yankees turn it around and the Rays keep up their pace, and the Blue Jays, like the Orioles, will drop back into beat.
Blue Jays are talented.
Yeah,
I was checking them out.
they
got
just got put
nice
it. They just got put it together.
Yeah, they got a nice nucleus. They
put
picked
it
up
together.
some quality wins last week. I got to peek at a little bit of the Blue Jays. Baseball. I'm anxious to see June and July baseball.
Yeah,
I want to see like if COVID still impacts the sport. I want to see, a lot of these young pitchers this is their first full season.
yeah.
If you were a rookie last year, that was just that was basically a long spring training.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to see like if maybe that half season either helped or hurt these guys, because they're not used to the grind.
June and July, that's like the bad teams are gonna go back to being bad.
Yeah.
I feel like teams like the Orioles,
Right.
and then teams that are expected to do something, that's when they're gonna start turning it around.
Yeah. The veterans start coming back and everything. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting, man. I can't wait for baseball. MLB The Show is now free on Xbox Marketplace. MLB Show 21. I downloaded it. It should be ready. If you would like to take a look at it after the podcast.
I got it for PlayStation.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, listen. If
And
you
I can
have,
play you. It's cross.
oh, it's cross-platform? All right. I got to step my skills up. I got something to do tonight. I got some homework for the podcast.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest story that we got to start with, Steph Curry, 11 straight games. He's averaging 40 points a game, 50% over. Over 50% from three?
50, 40, 90.
Is this the most incredible run you've seen in recent memory?
Yeah. Besides Kobe's run, yeah.
What was Kobe's run?
He just beat Kobe's run. It was like 10 straight of 30 or more.
30 or more? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is 11. Last night, he laid waste to my Sixers, especially in the closing minutes. It was a tight game.
Yeah.
But when Steph Curry hits 3 straight threes in the final minute 30 of regulation, you're done.
Yeah, it's ball game.
It's ball game. And he was calling game from 30 feet, 28 feet out.
And he kind of like kept y'all around because in the third quarter he was 1 for 8.
Right. But that's the law of averages. Like, look, I'm gonna have a down game, but being the best shooter in the world, I gotta keep shooting.
Yes.
Because my averages will eventually rise back up to my usual level.
Yes.
You're not going to be bad the entire game, but you got to keep getting those touches.
Yeah.
And I think Golden State, one of the things I'll say is we talk about how sometimes us older basketball fans feel like they may have ruined the sport in a way. And we say that tongue in cheek because it's really excellent high IQ basketball.
Yeah.
When everybody's healthy and they have all the pieces they need.
I say
They figured it out.
when we say that people like Steph ruin basketball, we're talking as far as like the youth.
Yeah, it's tongue in cheek. But yeah, we're talking about the youth, how they're going to try to imitate Steph Curry instead of learning the finer points of their game. You know,
because there's kids that will walk onto a basketball court instead of going to get a layup, they're shooting it from 30.
We know these kids. They can't make layups, but they can hit threes.
Yes.
Every now and then.
Yeah.
They ain't got the strength to shoot the three, but they're putting them up anyway, but they can't make a layup or a bounce pass. Can't even catch a bounce pass. We saw some stuff, man.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, this run is amazing. And as a Sixers fan, we sat Tobias and Ben Simmons last night. But I really didn't feel bad about the loss because we did set up. I did expect us to win that game, but there's no way you're going to beat Steph when he's shooting like that, when he's moving like that. And it was exciting to watch for me as a basketball fan. As bad as the loss may have felt, me being a Sixers fan, as a basketball fan, I haven't seen much more beautiful performance than that.
Yeah. I mean, Steph is just, this run is crazy.
Is he an MVP candidate?
No.
Even if they make the playoffs and they win, if they win the play-in game and make the playoffs, because right now they're 29-29.
No, it's too far down.
Too far down?
Because if let's say they fall into that play-in game.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can give him the MVP, because then that will be like, now any team that has a bad record but your player is doing well, anybody's a MVP candidate.
What if it turns out to be a winning record? It's nothing saying that they're going to have a losing record coming in.
No, what I'm saying is, like, even if you have, like, when Westbrook won it, when he first got the triple-double.
Yeah.
They were what, a 5th seed?
Yeah.
Something like that. They gave it to him because of the triple-double. Like, even though Steph is having a great season,
right? I
don't think you could give him the MVP if you fall 7 or below. Because now it's just like the MVP race is wide open. Now, now anybody can get it.
But judging by their record, judging by their talent and what they have available, and judging by what they were missing to start the season, is he not the definition of most valuable player?
Yes. But NBA wise,
yeah,
you can't get it. But he's valuable to his team.
Yeah.
But how they got it, how they view it, how the voters, I don't never get that. Like the guys that vote for MVP are guys that probably never played basketball.
Hey, yeah, sports writers and stuff. And I think they all call each other to make sure that they're on the same page with that.
It's but I don't think he's gonna win it. I think, speaking of MVP, I think Joker is leading the pack.
So you think Joker's in the lead? He had an amazing game last night. He's still been playing extremely well without Jamal Murray, which is why I said I'm the Embiid guy. You know, not just because he's at home, because Joel Embiid every night is putting up all-star MVP type performances, and his team is in first place in that conference. Yeah. And I don't think there's any doubt that without Embiid, they're not in first place.
No. I just think he missed too many games.
He missed 8 games, but Jokic is probably the only guy in the discussion that hasn't missed that much time. James Harden has been missing games now. I don't know how injury, kind of is a drawback on your MVP candidacy. I think what you do on the court, so long as you play like 75% of the season, which everyone's on pace to at least play that or more, I think you should still be in a discussion.
Not Embiid. Not LeBron.
Not LeBron. No.
Like they miss.
LeBron's missed more time than Embiid, and they're saying another 3 weeks for LeBron, which is crazy.
Yeah, I just think I think me personally, I think Joker's in the lead.
Yeah, I think so too in the minds of the voters.
But I wouldn't be upset if Embiid wound up winning it.
So that's your top 2.
Yeah, because before Embiid got hurt with the hyperextension of his knee, I had him in the league.
Oh yeah, he was unbelievable.
You know what I mean? So if they at the end of the season they say, "Oh, Embiid's the MVP," I'm not gonna like knock tables.
Yeah, you're not gonna bat an eye. Yeah.
It's like, all right, cool. I had
Okay.
him winning it anyway.
Okay. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how they judge this one, and if the Suns continue to climb.
Chris Paul got to be.
Chris Paul he has to be the MVP. That was a basement franchise until he got there this year. And now they're looking like they could potentially come out the West.
If Phoenix gets that number, they're a half game out of first.
Half game out of first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Either a half game or a game and a half.
Donovan Mitchell's hurt right now.
Yes. If they can get the number 1 seed in the West, he needs some
serious consideration.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the Nuggets have lost 20 games.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me. He has more losses than the other 2 players that we're considering in this MVP run. And if we're going by how the MVP award is generally given to the best player that means the most to the team with the best record, then you got to put Chris Paul up there. That's my thing. I'm looking at the standings right now.
Yeah, they're a game and a half out.
They're a game and a half out of first place. The Jazz, they took a bad loss to the Lakers over the weekend.
Yeah, they beat the Lakers last night.
Oh, but they beat them last night. Okay, all right. Yeah, because they just didn't look. But without Donovan Mitchell, they struggled mightily to just create anything on offense. And my issue with them is just, I'm always going to say it. I think Donovan Mitchell is not physically imposing enough to carry that team.
See, I'm not going to say they took a bad loss to the Lakers because they didn't have Donovan Mitchell. They didn't have Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
Last night, Gobert played and
they won.
Yeah. They stomped them.
Okay. Yeah. I was watching that game and I was just, I felt like the problem was no one else could find a timely bucket or keep the pressure up on the offensive end.
And with Joker, they were the 7th seed. They're the 4th seed now.
Yeah. Yeah, they're rising. But it looks like they're 2 games back of the Clippers right now.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any MVP candidates on the Clippers. No, probably not.
No.
But where do you see the Clippers fitting at in this Western Conference picture? Because we may see LA versus LA 3-6 matchup.
It's possible.
Very possible.
It's possible.
Someone must go in the first round.
Yeah, it's very much possible.
This is a big talk in the NBA discussion right now. Are the Clippers the scariest team in the West? Because they look totally different with Rondo.
Yeah.
They actually have what I say is controlled, high-level IQ point guard play.
Mm-hmm.
And they're giving it back on defense from the guard position, unlike they've been able to. Rondo brings a lot to the table. He settles them down.
Yeah, and DeMarcus Cousins is playing. He's playing decent.
I saw Boogie. We'll see, man. We'll see, because here's the thing. If Anthony Davis is healthy and ready to go, I think a lot of these guys in the NBA are missing far too much time. Mm-hmm. Like, it's going to be hard to catch a rhythm with the way this schedule is.
Yeah.
And you're also putting a lot of miles on your second unit players and your role players.
Yeah.
This is why I like that Philly is sitting Tobias Harris, letting him rest up.
Yeah.
Giving Ben Simmons a rest because they can afford to.
Yeah. When your team is like the 1 or the 2 seed,
yeah,
like
you got to start resting those guys.
You can afford to, drop a couple games, because I think, and I also think Doc Rivers is sitting them guys because he knows Brooklyn is sitting a lot of their guys.
Yeah.
So there's no threat of you, but y'all gonna be if it's only gonna be 1 or 2 seed between y'all two.
Right. Yeah. That's why I don't think having the 1 seed is the most important thing at all.
No.
I just think you need to be 1 or 2. And right now, no one's catching probably either team.
No.
It's the Milwaukee's 4 games back, but I think Milwaukee is in a lower caliber, a lower bracket, talent wise and potential wise than Philly and Brooklyn. But staying with the West, do you think the Clippers? I would say this. Do you think the Clippers are legitimate contenders in the West to come out?
Yeah, I believe so. Because I don't think Utah and Phoenix are for real.
Yeah.
They're giving me that Atlanta Hawks vibe.
Well, I told you the Jazz are. I don't believe the Jazz. I think the Nuggets
They're
probably beat the Jazz.
them two are giving me Atlanta Hawk, Toronto Raptors vibe.
Yeah,
Pre Kawhi.
yeah.
When it was Kyle Lowry in the room.
DeMar DeRozan. Yeah, yeah.
Like they do a lot of this winning 60 games in the regular season and then get to the playoffs and I mean you wet the bed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I got that from Utah. Phoenix, though, Chris Paul has been he's battle tested.
Yeah, he settles them down.
I think the issue is Devin Booker ready for the big show?
DeAndre Ayton, like that's
DeAndre Ayton is going to be the one.
Yeah, that's going to tell it because we know we're going to get from Chris Paul.
Right.
What are we going to get from you guys that never been here before?
Exactly. And I'm looking at their roster. They're so young, man.
Yeah.
They're so young and unproven. I mean, if I'm a coach, I'm looking at veterans I know I can trust. I would say Jay Crowder is probably the only guy that's played a lot of legitimate basketball other than Chris Paul.
Yeah.
I mean, Frank Kaminsky hasn't done much, and I don't know,
Nah.
Dario Saric, I love Saric, but I think against the other fours in the West, his ability is a little, his ability to impact the game is very limited.
Yeah.
I will say that. And I'm, trying to because he's not a bad player at all. Dario Saric is a very solid, basketball player inside and out. Yeah. What do you think about the Blazers? Because now Dame Lillard's been struggling, but they've been starting to pull together with CJ McCollum back. They're starting to look like they're strengthening a little bit.
Yeah, they're gonna get it. They're gonna get it to go because they got a bunch of veterans on their team that's been there, and then they're starting to get healthy.
So right now they're 2 games back of the 5 seed and 4.5 games back of the 4 seed. So it's looking like either the Clippers first round or the Nuggets first round. Do you think Portland could knock off the Clippers or the Nuggets?
Yeah.
I think they're quick enough and they have enough firepower to outrun the Clippers.
Yeah.
Because they're a half-court team. They're older. I don't trust Zubac. This year he's shown me some things when I've been watching where I'm like, it's not quite the guy that I liked last year. There was a lot more talent around him. And right. I think he's struggling a little bit.
Yeah. Portland is one of them teams where like you don't want to see them in the first round.
Yeah.
Even though your team might be better, but you don't want to see them in the first round, especially when they start to get healthy. Because like look at last year. Like they went on a run as soon as Nurk started coming back, Collins started to come back, Melo started to find his role.
Right.
Like they're dangerous. You know what I mean? They just ran into the Lakers.
And Dame Lillard is the Iverson effect. Like I've told people, if it's a guy who's sheer willpower and force and is undersized and it doesn't make sense, but he's determined enough to make it happen, it's Dame Lillard. I think he is one of in my opinion, one of the top 6 players in NBA. I put him up there, and I'll challenge anybody. I don't even know who the other 5 are, but I've always felt this way. I felt like he's had the least amount of help, but for some reason, his teams are always highly competitive, and his numbers are insane as well. We talk about the tears that Steph is on and the tears other guys go on, but Damian Lillard, other than this last few weeks, he's usually on a career tear.
Yeah. When he's one of them guys when they get hot, like you want to watch.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. I think if they play the Nuggets, though, the lack of being able to defend him in the backcourt is going to doom them against Portland.
Yeah,
I think Jamal Murray being out really could cost them. But the Nuggets have a lot of faith in Joker, man. So we'll definitely see, man. NBA is shaping up. But back to Steph Curry real quick. I was in the gym the other morning, and there was a guy, older gentleman in his 50s. He played high-level basketball. I believe at Quinnipiac, he's one of their all-time leading rebounders, right? So we were all talking, and, somebody said, hey, has Steph moved up your all-time list? And I know we talked about this, but I had the conversation, and I said, if Steph gives me 2 to 3 more years of high-level basketball, I think he'll be the GOAT point guard. Because the rings argument, finals appearance argument, he's getting that over everyone but Magic at the point guard position. And when it comes to longevity, at that point, he will be ahead of Magic as far as being at that level the longest.
Mhm.
So, and then also I take into account, and I'm not taking anything away from Magic Johnson. You can call him the GOAT. I'm not going to argue with you on that. But Magic had Kareem, had James Worthy. I mean, his teams were a dynasty because they had dynastic firepower.
Mhm.
Now, Steph is the firepower.
Yeah.
Clay is the only other real firepower that they've had. Everything else has been scheme,
Besides KD.
high IQ. Yeah, the KD, the 2 KD rings, yes. But I think what we're seeing now is
Yeah.
Steph is just as deadly. And I've always wanted to see this. So, because I feel like people felt like the narrative has always been, oh yeah, next to Clay, they're the greatest ever. You always hear about the pair,
Yeah.
but I don't think people talk about what Steph has done enough.
And it's showing because now Steph is like, I don't have KD and I don't have Clay.
Right,
So now y'all seeing what I can do.
right,
The only knock, which is bogus,
right.
the only knock that people gonna nitpick Steph about is he don't have a Finals MVP,
Yeah,
and everybody know that he should have got it over Iggy
yeah,
because any other person, this was Steph numbers that Finals that he didn't get it when they won. He averaged 26 points, I believe, 7 rebounds and 7 assists and 6 rebounds. And he didn't win Finals MVP. And he had 37 the closeout game.
yeah,
He had 25 the game before.
right.
You don't get it. It's crazy.
It that is crazy. And it's almost like the NBA never quite handed over those keys to Steph
Mm-mm.
and elevated him to that plateau,
Mm-mm.
even though his play individually is why they're shooting threes now at the clip that they're shooting.
Mm-hmm.
It's remarkable. We always talk about the pair, but we never talk about Steph on his own. And I think there was even a time when I felt like Clay was a better pure shooter.
He is.
I would say, yeah. But I'm not even so sure that argument holds because there's going to be 2 careers. And if I had to compare Steph to anybody, it's going to be the great Ray Allen.
Mm-hmm.
You had the career of franchise player, create my own shot, leader of the team, floor general, all that. But then once the skills start to erode, you're going to have the marksman career.
Yeah.
Because
2 careers in one.
I'm just saying this. If JJ Redick could go to Philly and have the years he had and put up at the time what were insane numbers for an older guy that can't really dribble and is just running around getting open looks, imagine what Steph is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
His career is probably going to be extended by 6 or 7 years just because he's automatic.
Yeah, when you were that's why I think I said it on one of the other episodes.
Yeah.
When you're a knockdown shooter like Steph, like Clay, like Ray Allen,
Yeah.
JJ Redick, you're gonna have 2 careers in one.
Right.
All right, let's take out JJ. Let's just keep it with Ray Allen and Steph.
Right.
When Ray Allen,
Well, Jason Kidd too.
When Ray Allen was in Milwaukee and in Seattle, he handled the ball a lot.
Yep.
He was getting to the basket, hitting jump shots. When he went to Boston and Miami, when his career was not I'm not the superstar anymore.
Right.
Now I'm just this standstill knockdown shooter. That's going to be the same with Steph. When his career started to wind down, when he can't do all the stuff that he's doing now,
Right.
now he's going to be that guy where I'm going to sit in this corner, or you're going to give me a pin down, I'm going to curl up and hit the shot.
Right.
Same thing with Clay. Like, they just think, oh, Clay had the ACL and then the Achilles. There's nothing wrong with his arm. He don't really run around like that anyway. He's just a spot up shooter. He don't even dribble the ball.
Well, and here's where the point guard argument comes in for me, and why I hold Steph in such high regard, and I put him up there with Isaiah Thomas. He's already in that stratosphere because the pure point guard play is there.
Mm-hmm.
Golden State is not competitive because Steph's scoring every bucket. It's because Steph is breaking down the defense. He's applying the pressure offensively, and he's moving that ball. Before Steph Curry became the Steph Curry we know of today, he was a 10, 11 assist kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, at the time, I was like, oh, Darren Williams fell off. Steph Curry's that next guy that can go score and dish out a ton of assists and pretty much be responsible for the offense in both aspects of distributing the ball and being a floor general. We're talking about when his career has to extend. Right now, he still has the explosion.
Mm-hmm.
He still has that finishing ability with both hands that I don't think gets talked about enough because everyone talks about Kyrie's handle. Steph's handle is just as deadly.
Yeah.
He does everything Kyrie does. I think Kyrie's a slightly better finisher.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
But when everything else, Steph probably is better.
Mm-hmm.
He has to get his respect. And it's a shame that the NBA never quite handed him the keys.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I don't think they are, because like the way Giannis came on.
Yeah, and it's the same thing happened to Zeke with Jordan. You know, like a young Michael Jordan, and there were already other guys in the league. You had Magic there, you had all that. Zeke was fighting for his respect. Mm-hmm. He's almost in the same position.
Yeah,
it's the Warriors versus everybody. No one, they're on that island, and people are just doubting them constantly.
Yeah. Well, it's like this gonna be. Basketball season is winding down. What is it, about 9-10 games left?
Yeah. It's about, for most teams, yeah.
Yeah, so it's now it's just like jockeying for position.
It's money time.
Yeah.
It's money time.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the season coming down, and I just like, I'm amazed at the Warriors too. They lost James Wiseman and they're still rolling. And they're getting absolutely nothing out of Kelly Oubre.
No.
That was a bad pickup. They went into luxury tax for him. I'm pretty sure they'll flip him for probably a couple lesser guys.
Yeah.
And I don't see his, there's also the rumors that it's a refusal to want to come off the bench or something like that. Steph's playing. He's dealing with a lot. And they got guys injured that are role players.
Yeah. When next season, they will be a top 4 or 5 seed in the West.
Yeah. Let's talk about LaMarcus Aldridge for a minute. Surprise retirement after we did the show last week. LaMarcus Aldridge just signed with the Nets literally days before suddenly retiring.
Mm-hmm.
The lasting image I'm going to have of LaMarcus Aldridge, even though he had a very good career, he's one of my favorite players to watch in Portland, is him getting absolutely just handled by Andre Drummond. He looked old. He looked done. He looked finished. And I know they're talking about the irregular heartbeat, but I've also read that that's not something new. It's something he had always been playing with.
Well, like, that's why he got bought out of
San Antonio,
because he's not the same Aldridge. He's old. He's slow. You know what I mean? So everybody, we all knew that. But then when he signed with the Nets, everybody made it seem like, oh, the Nets are just like, that just put them over the top with him and Blake Griffin going there as super power team. Like, no, we were just killing them.
You're right.
And then now, but if they would have signed with the Lakers, everything would have been fine.
I actually wanted him in the Sixers to be the backup power forward. I didn't think he was going to put the Nets over the top because there's just not enough basketballs on the court to get LaMarcus going. Why? Because there's no reason to go to him.
No.
You're going to go, Harden's going to bring it up. It's going to go KD, then Kyrie, and then Harden's going to fill in whoever sits down, he's taking their shot.
Yeah.
And then it'll probably go to Blake before that because Blake has the outside game.
And then it'll probably go to Joe Harris before that.
Exactly. It'll go Joe Harris and even Jeff Green. He has a little autonomy because he knows how to make things happen. So it was a shocker when I saw people thinking that the Nets got just, put over the top and it was a foregone conclusion.
Yeah. Like, I already had the Nets going to the finals when it was just them 3.
Yeah.
And then, like, with Blake going there and then with LaMarcus going there, that didn't make me say, oh, this is concrete NBA finals. No, it was just like, all right, like, they're older. I don't, like, when people say people be ring chasing, I don't have a problem with guys that's past their prime going to ring chasing.
Oh, he's done. That's not ring chasing. That's my last hope. Go somewhere that makes sense.
Like with Gary Payton and Carmelo when they went to the Lakers.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
No.
because
not at all.
y'all not the guy anymore.
I didn't mind Ray Allen going to the Celtics or KG. You put in your time. You kept those franchises alive.
Like I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Now I have a problem with when you are in the prime of your career
Yeah.
and you're top 1, 2, or 3 in your position,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh, I want to like
Go
I have
link up with other top 1,
Yes,
2, or 3.
I have a problem with that.
Yeah. I have a big problem with it too
You know
because
what I mean?
it just makes for a bad or a lesser product, a whole in NBA as far as competition.
Yeah.
And my thing is, my whole thing to kill that argument. All right, if you're LaMarcus Aldridge, would you go play for Orlando?
no,
I'm sure they'll have you because
Yeah.
they might sell some tickets,
Yeah.
but you want to be a sideshow for the rest of your career. But on the flip side, Orlando probably wouldn't even take it. There's no point in you being here. We're developing young guys.
Right.
We're trying to lose as many games as possible.
Now that's why a lot of people may have a problem with the buyout situation
Yeah,
because it's like, all right, I was an all-star. I'm not in my prime anymore. I'm on a bad team. I'm in a bad situation, even though the
Right.
Spurs are still like getting into the playoffs, but like it's clear that they're moving in another direction.
right.
So I don't want to, if I'm going to get bought out from here, I don't want to go to another bad team. I will go to a contender to where I know I don't have many years left. So if I could get this championship, cool. You know what I mean? I would never expect LaMarcus to get bought out of San Antonio and then go to Cleveland.
No,
Like,
yeah,
no.
and that's why I want people. I always say, where's the alternative for this guy to go? Do you want him to go to, like I said, Orlando? Would you like to see him go to Sacramento? It wouldn't make sense. Those
No.
teams aren't in contention,
No.
and why would you even want to risk injuring yourself for that? Like, there's a physical price to pay
Right.
for a lot of that. Now, Blake is on that same level. I didn't think he put them over the top. Blake is another guy. Say if he comes to Philly, if he's willing to accept the role that he would have to play, then sure, I'm cool with it. But Blake doesn't put you over the top anymore.
Mm-mm. This is not Lob City Blake.
No,
And even Lob City Blake didn't move the needle.
not at all. He's
Like-
never been the guy that put you over the top.
No, he wasn't. He's like, people was thinking when Blake and LaMarcus went to the Nets, that was like when Rasheed Wallace put Detroit over the top.
Right.
Like this not that. Like
No,
Rasheed
not at all.
Wallace was actually, he proved to be the missing piece of a defensive team. And Rasheed, like, I could play defense and I could also score.
Stretch 4.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't see Blake and LaMarcus doing that. Even though, like, and the same with Andre Drummond going to the Lakers. I don't see him being the needle mover.
Yeah, I didn't hear the ring chasing argument when Dikembe Mutombo got traded to Philly. You know what I mean? Like, if you think about it, it's like, yo, this is the equivalent of that. They got Mutombo because Theo Ratliff was hurt. So they went and got an old guy at the end of his run who was no longer an elite player and just hoped he could hold water and get them to the finals, which he did. He did his job.
I just need you to play defense with the rest of them and let Iverson score.
Exactly. Grab boards and get back on defense.
Yeah.
That's all we need, big
We
dog.
don't need you to stop Shaq. Just try to get in his way.
Here's what I want to ask those same people. Is Anthony Tolliver ring chasing with the Sixers? Is George Hill ring chasing?
Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't think that was ring chasing. I just thought the Nets were a little like thirsty. I understand certain people not wanting to see that, but I didn't think it made basketball sense because I just how many minutes was he going to be able to play in a tough playoff series, and who was he going to be able to stop?
Well, LaMarcus.
Yeah, LaMarcus. At this point in this, I think that Andre Drummond game when he was just getting abused and the Nets took that bad loss.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any coincidence that he would retire after that game. I think sometimes we as athletes know when we're finished.
Yeah.
Life's different.
I think if he would have stayed and played in the playoffs, I think he could have been effective against every team in the playoff field besides Embiid.
Right.
Like there's nobody else in the East that has an Embiid. So he would have been effective up until the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right. And but also and then in Eastern Conference Finals, it's like, all right, he's the backup 5 and he's got to go down there and bang with Dwight. You just struggle with Andre Drummond. So,
but I think I would take my chances going against Dwight than Andre Drummond.
Yeah, but it would have still been brutal because you're gonna see Embiid a lot. Because honestly, I thought the Nets needed to go in a younger direction. If I wanted to see them really get over the top, they needed a reserve center that could come in and give them what DeAndre Jordan's giving them.
So
Because reserves are everything in the playoffs,
So
and their
you-
rotation is so short.
so you would have rather them go after JaVale.
JaVale McGee would have been. That's when, as a Sixers fan, I'd be like, oh, they're playing X's and O. They're thinking. They're playing the long game. They understand, and they're fortifying as many athletic and strong and sizable guys that they can and that have been there before. They're fortifying that position to play the best player in the East right now.
Yeah.
You know, I even if they had to play the Bucks, that would be a great pickup because JaVale has that length and that athleticism to disrupt a lot of guys that like to attack the rim and play in the paint and down low.
I think they would have did pretty good against the Bucks because you could put LaMarcus on Brook Lopez.
You could.
Because Lopez is not going to bait. He's not going to be down low like Drummond. Lopez is going to stand at the 3-point line.
You know, and LaMarcus would have got the mid-range shots off. I
Yeah.
think, you know, it would have forced Lopez to step out on defense a little bit further. But the issue is I would rather McGee because he has that range.
No.
And he could get above the rim when he needs to be.
Yeah, and he's younger.
Yeah, much younger. So that's where I thought the Nets would have helped.
That's a sneaky pickup for Denver too. When McGee went to Denver.
Yeah, that was because Jokic is going to need it. He's not a banger.
No,
he's not a banger at all. He's stuck to the floor, and I think that's always going to be the thing that holds him back.
Mhm.
It's his inability to just turn on the athleticism.
And then that also is going to help them if they play the Lakers in the playoffs.
Yes,
because now Joker doesn't have to play
Anthony Davis.
Yes, he can go and play Drummond and let JaVale go with Anthony Davis.
That's going to be interesting.
Mhm.
And the thing about Drummond, he can be had. Anybody with an offensive toolbox can take care of Andre Drummond.
Yeah.
Embiid has dominated him like for his entire career. Like it's funny watching Drummond get frustrated with a lot of these, with the very few offensive bigs that are out there. There's not a whole lot that can put it all together. But if you can, you got Andre Drummond's number.
Yeah.
KD's just got nicked up again and the Nets lost the other night. Do you think it's detrimental that they're sitting all these players for this long?
No, because basketball now, you don't need chemistry.
Right.
You don't need chemistry in the NBA.
Okay. Interesting.
Because I say that to say this because the NBA is all about pick and roll.
Yeah.
So everybody's doing pick and roll. Nobody has sets. So everybody's doing pick and roll. So guys can sit out and then come right back in and be like, and never miss a beat. That's just like when you get a trade deadline guy or a buyout guy or sign a guy off the street.
George Hill.
Everything is pick and roll.
Yeah.
So when I come in from one team to another team, all we're doing is pick and roll. So it's just high pick and roll. You get by him, and now you got shooters or to the basket or the lob. So like NBA now, like you don't need chemistry. Like when the Bulls was at the top of their game, the triangle was big.
Right.
So if you're new coming into that system, it took you a while because the triangle was complicated.
Yeah, you got to know it. Yeah, it was a very complex offense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now it's just pick and roll. Everybody does high pick and roll. You could just miss a month and come right back in and pick right back up where you left off.
Yeah. I definitely understand that. It's definitely a more wide open game. And I also think I think it'll hurt about more of individual guys getting into their rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I think it's James Harden was the perfect guy, the third superstar to come there because he's willing to step back.
Yeah.
I think he misses that, honestly. And he said it. He missed the Thunder days because he made that team go.
Mm-hmm.
Coming off the bench, he was sixth man of the year. And we didn't know he had the scoring potential, but I don't think he enjoyed basketball in Houston as much as he did in Oklahoma City.
Yeah. I mean, when you on a team with some good friends,
right?
And y'all make a run to the finals, and then it's just, and then when you go somewhere else where, you got the team to yourself, and you're gonna get paid.
No disrespect to the Rockets,
right? But it's like, am I really having fun?
Right.
You know what I mean? yeah, my guys are over there, like they having fun.
And I'm over here playing gimmick basketball.
Right.
I'm just a walking globetrotter. I'm drawing fouls. I'm just putting up my numbers, and we keep failing because I always say, like, so the knock on James Harden is like, oh, kept going to the Western Conference Finals twice. I said, but look who he was playing in those Western Conference Finals. He went up against the Warriors twice, and those were 7-game series.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those weren't, the Warriors didn't smoke them.
Mm-mm.
And James Harden doesn't get enough credit, and everybody says, well, he disappears. The way they were playing, he was gassed.
Yeah, because you can't play that run and gun 3-point game with the Warriors.
No. But Houston showed up with enough defense to make it a series, but also the weight of the entire offense can't be on you for 7 games against KD, Steph, and Clay, and Iguodala, and
it didn't help when Chris Paul got hurt in that game 7.
Chris Paul getting that was the difference. I don't think we're talking about the Warriors dynasty if Chris Paul plays in that game 7. That hamstring, man.
Yeah, because didn't he get hurt in game 6?
Yeah, I think he got hurt in game 6 at the end of game 6. My issue, how hurt was that hamstring? Because to me, if he could have moved, he should have been out on that floor.
No, because even if like you got anything wrong with your hamstring, do you really trust your hamstring trying to chase Steph around?
I mean, spot minutes. I trust that you'll also occupy somebody when it's time for them to play defense. Like I always wonder that because you're on the verge of taking out the Warriors. Game 7, they were looking a little wounded, and there was blood in the water. I'm Isaiah Thomas. I'm out there with the fat ankle, baby. I'm coming out. I got the tennis ball on my ankle. We getting right. We're gonna take it there.
Yeah, but with Isaiah, like there was no guards back then that was like running around.
Yeah, that's
true.
true.
Who they played? The Lakers, right?
Yeah.
Magic ain't running around. Magic going back you down.
Not at all. Yeah.
So Isaiah could be like, okay, cool. Like I'm cool with this. It's just me cutting, going. That would have been a problem.
He was just getting going and shooting or driving to the basket.
I think Steph would have known. Everybody got the scouting report. The injury report. Oh, his hamstring is bad. I'm gonna run off as many screens as I can. I'm gonna get him out of this game.
Yeah. That was
But then that game 7, didn't Houston miss 27 straight 3-pointers?
They definitely did.
You can't do that.
Yeah, you can't. But they were burned out too. Like everybody was out of position. They got small guys playing big. They didn't have any big men in the lineup. It was just, and I think James Harden gets unfair flack for not getting to the finals in those years. But it was remarkable that weird basketball team that D'Antoni had put together even made it that far. If you ask me, that was circus basketball.
Yeah, and it was obvious and clear because if you remember, Golden State played New Orleans in the first round, and Cousins and Anthony Davis was killing them on the boards.
Right. Yeah.
So they found a way to get past them. So when you play in Houston in the finals, in the Western Conference Finals, you have Tyson Chandler. Even though Tyson Chandler's old, he's a guy that can dominate them on the rebound.
I thought he was criminally underused. I don't care if you have warm-ups and a jersey, the shorts to match, you're gonna get in the game against Golden State. I'm sending everybody out there. Hey, you mean to tell me, like, I was sitting there like, you mean to tell me he can't just rub shoulders with Draymond for at least 5 to 10 minutes?
Or when Golden State put Kevon Looney in the game.
Listen, man. Kevon Looney, man. God bless him.
Kevon Looney looks like he bites people.
He does. That is one of the most awkward players ever. But you know what? He's active. And that's active. That's all you really need from guys. Yeah. But I think that's why D'Antoni's not a head coach now.
And a player like Kevon Looney and JaVale McGee is perfect for Golden State because they don't need a big man that wants to dominate the ball.
Nope.
They want the big man that's can space the floor, even though McGee couldn't space the floor, but he got a lot of offensive rebounds by he sent it to 3-point line.
Yeah.
Let them do what they do, and then he come in for a tip dunk or to knock it back out. That was perfect for him. The only one that they had that was like a kind of back to the basket center was Andrew Bogut.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Perfect.
Yeah.
He worked out perfect for Golden State.
He definitely did. He definitely did.
He was active around the basket. He rebounded. He blocked shots. That's all. That's all Golden State needed you to do.
Yeah, yeah. And they really don't require front court scorers. The last one they had was what? David Lee?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It makes it all that much more remarkable. And when we're looking at the Nets, I expect them to see them in the finals. If I'm Philly, it's Philly and Brooklyn. It's a 2-team race in the East.
Yeah.
But I also think James Harden is I'm not so sure he's all that hurt right now. This is his sabbatical. He needs time off because he was playing very hard and carrying them.
Yeah.
I just think that he's the guy. If there's ever an issue with Kyrie and KD, James Harden is the buffer between them on the floor and the guy that, I'm bona fide too. But I'm going to acquiesce to make this team better.
I feel comfortable with saying the winner of the Nets Sixers series probably will be the NBA champions.
I think so too. I mean, look, man, my Sixers got Anthony Tolliver. Listen, man, that woo.
Yes.
Man, I'll tell you, that was probably the laziest signing in franchise history, especially like Jabari Parker just gave the Celtics 17 points in a game. He was sitting out there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know all the power forwards that were out there. Ilyasova was out there.
No, I think he's in Utah, I think.
Yeah, but he was out there available.
Yeah.
And we know he can give us good minutes at the backup forward. We just traded Tony Bradley, a 6'10", very young guy who was on a stretch of double-doubles. He was starting to play. He was looking like a legitimate future prospect. But I understand we couldn't have re-signed him because we didn't have his bird rights and stuff like that. So we had to flip him. But when you're playing for a championship and the guy is giving you something, just you can take that loss. But we got George Hill in return. And I don't think we need George Hill as much if we would have kept our backup power forward. Anthony Tolliver hasn't played basketball in 2 years. He looks like Tommy from Martin out there.
He does.
I'm like, he looks old. And I'm not saying hopefully he'll be able to give us something, but that had to be the laziest signing. I understand the Sixers probably don't want to tinker too much. They want to keep everybody in their roles, and they plugged in George Hill to be that backup point guard that they desperately need because Shake Milton he's hit his ceiling.
So you like George Hill?
Coming off the bench, yes. Because Shake Milton, the ball needs to be out of his hands.
Wasn't there just a post that surfaced?
Years ago, George Hill has had the most bland career. He is the Ryan Tannehill of the NBA. His career is just meh. Blah.
But this is the piece.
20 years? No. I'm just saying the Sixers need him. I'm not saying it's putting over top, but it'll solidify the way their offense operates on the bench because Shake Milton is a combo guard, but he's been exclusively running point guard because no one else on the team can do it effectively. And his point guard skills are limited because he's not a terrible passer, but he's not a good passer.
Mm-hmm.
And his best attribute is scoring off the ball. If I had to compare him to anybody, he's a poor man's Lou Williams. If he continues to build, the height of his career will be Lou Williams, which is not a bad thing. But Lou Williams also shouldn't be your reserve point guard.
Right.
We're taking the ball from Ben Simmons running point or Seth Curry, who's really not a point guard but handles it, and we're giving it to Shake Milton. No, let's have George Hill do a lot of that. And it's also he has experience, man.
Right, I see where you're coming from on that aspect.
Yeah, and he's also played with Danny Green. He's familiar with a lot of the guys on the team.
He's a smart point guard that you need running your second unit.
Low mistake player. That's it. In NBA, when you go to your bench, you're looking for guys who aren't going to make mistakes and hurt you. I need to see that plus minus column that when you're on the floor, things at least hold steady. We don't need you to put us over the top. We just need you to hold the fort until we put the starter back in. And so that's it. And Korkmaz, he needs his touches. George Hill's going to have to work that ball around.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. We could touch on the NFL draft. Anything you want to talk about? Anything you expect? This quarterback hype is getting crazier and crazier by the day.
It's just especially Mac Jones.
Mac Jones, yeah. I don't, and we could talk about it here.
I don't see what people see in Mac Jones.
I heard someone compare him to a Tom Brady, and this was an analyst on ESPN. I can't remember who for the life of me, but they're saying, he has all the tools to do that same thing, and they think the Patriots should jump up to go get him. I said, jump up. I don't even think he should be drafted that high.
No, like the 49ers traded a lot
Yeah.
to go from 12 to 3. And it's looking like they're targeting Mac Jones.
Right.
I think Mac Jones is a quarterback that you could have gotten at 12.
I think so too. But there's no guarantees because the hype machine must be rolling.
The hype machine started rolling once the Niners like
Traded up.
tipped their hand.
Yeah.
So now everybody's looking at, oh, Mac Jones, Mac Jones. Mac Jones was a quarterback for Alabama. What he played? 20 games, if that.
Right. Yeah.
You're throwing the ball.
Was it even 20 games?
I don't even think it was 20.
No, because Tua was there then.
Tua, Jalen Hurts, and Tua.
Yeah.
Took a lot of that. And then, so Mac Jones, this is really his only year that he started from
Right.
first game to last. And look at the weapons.
And it was a short season.
Look at the weapons that you were that you was with.
Yeah.
So that's just like with Dwayne Haskins at Ohio State. You got track stars as your wide receivers.
Yeah.
You get to the NFL,
I
you don't have that.
had faith in Haskins. I don't think the work ethic was there with Dwayne Haskins.
And with Mac Jones, another knock on him, like eventually it's going to change.
Yeah.
But no quarterback from Alabama goes to the NFL and survives.
No, not since Joe Namath.
And
Tua, the jury's still out, but I don't think Miami believes in Tua.
no, and the Eagles damn sure don't believe in Jalen Hurts.
I think-
even though he came from Oklahoma, but he's an Alabama quarterback.
I think Miami, and I agree with it. If I am Miami, I think they've took so many hits in the roster, like whatever they were trying to build last year has now disintegrated, and Tua is just going to be the bridge until they see the prospect that they like, and they're just hoping. I think best case scenario, the hope is that they can keep him healthy and upright, and make him tradable, so they can move him if in next year's draft or something.
That's just like when the Giants drafted Daniel Jones at 6.
Right.
I don't think nobody was going to draft Daniel Jones in the first round. I was thinking we could have gotten Daniel Jones in our first pick in the second round.
Yep.
He would have still been there in the second round. But you jumped up to 6. Jury's still out on him. We got him some weapons. This is a make or break year for Daniel Jones.
It definitely is.
We got him weapons. Saquon's coming back. The offensive line is okay-ish. But if you can't prove to me now, when we got you some weapons, then NFL quarterback is not the job for you.
Right. Or starting quarterback.
Or starting quarterback is not the job for you.
Remember, Blake Bortles is still in the league. I'm just saying. I mean, yeah, but starting quarterback is not for you. Justin Fields, it's looking like there's so many people refuting all the knocks on Justin Fields in favor of Mac Jones. There's definitely a racial component here, and no one likes it.
Yeah.
And I'm not just going to say the black sports writers. I've seen non-black sports writers speak on this too. It's getting ridiculous. And now all the stats behind the stats and all the, the minute numbers are coming out saying there's no basis for anyone to say that Justin Fields, first of all, the stories out there aren't like Mac Jones, who has been in some trouble.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's got the 2 DUIs and other situations at Alabama. Justin Fields doesn't have that.
None.
So take that away. They're talking about commitment to football. Justin Fields on the field in almost every category has outperformed Mac Jones.
Yes.
And he's falling fast.
With lesser talent.
So, I mean, at this point, would you say it's a racial thing? I think someone's blowing smoke. I'm going to err to that because I think whoever really wants him is going to jump up and go get him.
Yeah. Yeah. I think eventually, Fields is going to go with 3 to the 49ers. I just think they just, like you said, they just blowing smoke, trying to get people to think that they're going to take Mac Jones. So somebody can be like, all right, well.
Or they might be drafting Mac Jones. Well, no, because they already gave up the picks. I was like, so they wouldn't be drafting them for anybody else.
No.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense because you've already, you tipped your hand all the way.
Yeah, you tipped your
Because
hand.
I'm trying to see who may be drafting a quarterback for someone else. Because honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles jump up and take Justin Fields.
Yeah, I've heard that the Eagles are trying to get back into the top 10. So I don't know how true
They
that is.
tried to get a quarterback, and they were going to trade with the Dolphins, but they called it off at the last minute because I think they've been waiting to see how this plays out.
Yeah.
And once again, I've been telling Eagles fans, there's no faith in Jalen Hurts.
No.
They got rid of Carson Wentz, and they told you Jalen Hurts was the guy. And then the reports came out. They tried to trade with the Dolphins for their pick to move up to number 6. Who else would they move him up to number 6 for? Don't tell me a tackle. Don't tell me a guard. Don't tell me a corner.
Wide receiver.
Don't tell me a linebacker. I don't want to hear none of that. I know what you were doing because you can't lie to me. You're trying to get a quarterback.
Eagles are just silly. Like, why would you? Where were they picking? 6?
Yeah.
So why would you trade out of the 6th spot and then now trying to get back into the top 10?
It doesn't make sense at all. I don't get any of it. Like,
I don't.
And then you're going to mortgage more assets
Yeah.
to go get this quarterback. If you believed in Justin Fields, you should have just made one move.
Yeah.
That's it. Especially when you know you're going to be bad this year anyway. So this draft is going to be very interesting. I honestly think because of everything that's happened and the lower salary cap and all that, I think you're going to see a lot of movement on draft day. I keep seeing this rumor that keeps recirculating that Buffalo may trade for Zach Ertz. I'm seeing a lot of draft day trade rumors, like a 7th rounder or something with the
When is
Eagles,
the draft?
which I'll be okay. It's 2 weeks, I think, or the week after next.
Was it Thursday?
Yeah, I think it starts on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So it'll be April like 27th or 28th or
I
something.
don't know. I might come over to check the draft out.
Yo, it would be dope, man. We could do a live draft show.
Come check it out.
Yo, we should do a live draft show, man.
I'm with it.
Yo, we got to set that up. We get the following going. I shouldn't be banned from Facebook much longer. It's a 24-hour ban. Mark Zuckerberg, y'all need to holler at me. Don't make me go a little boozy. I did not say anything that was wrong. I don't want to get into it because this is a sports podcast. But what we can talk about real quick, Derek Chauvin, guilty on all 3 counts in court, looking at 40 years in prison. I want to hear your thoughts, man.
It's a step in the right direction.
Yeah. It's a small victory.
Yeah, small victory. Now we can see and sit back and say, like, they will charge and convict these people. You know what I mean? Like, there was a slap in the face. What happened with the Breonna Taylor situation?
Yeah.
That was a slap in the face. So now with this situation, it's like small victory.
Well, what I've noticed is we've taken slaps in the face in a lot of southern states. And look, we're Northeasterners. We've been to the South. You know what it is.
Yeah.
It's wild when I look at a lot of these cases. Michael Slager shot Walter Scott in the back, and he pled guilty and took 20 years in federal prison because he knew what time it was. He was done up. And he was super, super duper in the wrong. But we lost the Mike Brown thing, right? George Zimmerman, we lost in Florida. And then what was the other case? Breonna Taylor, Kentucky. This is Minnesota. And then also, you know, in the Minneapolis thing, it's a very metropolitan area. Minnesota is a little more not as southern in their history, is not as deep, although racism has a deep history in every part of the United States you go. But it's not like the South. So I think what you saw is how things should go. We're not going to charge them with stuff we know we can't convict on.
Right.
And they put like the 4 greatest prosecutors on the case to get Derek Chauvin the time he deserved. He murdered somebody. So like you said, it's a step in the right direction. It's a small victory in the struggle.
Yeah.
And to win any war, you got to win the small battles. You know, how do I put this? Also, I didn't have any doubt, though, that he was going to get found guilty because Derek Chauvin, by doing that to George Floyd and how it happened and what it became, if they would have let him free, he doesn't live.
No.
And a lot of innocent people die in unrest. If you ask me, and I would, you always want to hope that that doesn't happen, but we saw the world break out in riots. That 17-year-old kid was shooting protesters. A lot of things went wrong in this country because of what he did on that camera, and it went around the world. He almost destabilized America.
Yeah.
And at that point, I honestly believe the whispers were there, the orders were sent from the top, and they were monitoring this very closely. Y'all have to get this right. Because America right now is so divided after Trump. Everybody's on one side or the other.
Yeah,
We can't, he got to go to jail.
yeah. I think, and it looked like they were gonna make an example out of him.
Oh, 40 years.
Like,
Yeah, that's an example. That's life.
yeah, it's like we let a lot of the other stuff slide.
Right.
Like you said, it was a slap in the face with all the ones that we lost.
Uh-huh.
With this one, it's like when we get you, we're gonna throw the book at you.
Yeah.
And now that should put it in perspective for all these other officers that does stuff to unarmed blacks or unarmed people, period. Like, there's gonna be a consequence.
Well, and he had such a disregard on the camera. It was so arrogant the way he
because
was
had
doing
his hand in
it.
his pocket, like the
Hand
whole
in his
time, like,
pocket, smirking at the people. You know, he had a nice little crew around him of other cops holding him back. And those other cops better just cop please and just, if they can cut a deal and get their freedom, go live your life in seclusion. Go live in Canada. Saskatchewan, I hear, is really nice in the summer. You know, just you gotta go somewhere. Belize, Costa Rica. If you can get out the country, go, because they're not playing. This situation is bad juju.
Mhm.
And now we have the other police shooting with the cop that killed the 13-year-old kid in Chicago, Adam Toledo. Rest in peace.
I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, he was running through the alley. The official report, this happened, I want to say some days prior, but and the report was saying Toledo had a gun. Well, when they showed the body cam and released it to the public, which is the law, the kid had no gun. He put both bare hands up and she shot him to death. His cousin actually had the gun and was actually caught and captured with the gun prior to him getting shot. But he showed palms. He raised his hands up. He stopped running.
That's crazy.
Raised his hands up in the inner city in Chicago. In the woman cop, she shot him. I think this now sets the precedent. That case is going to be handled in a much the same manner.
And the other officer that killed the kid in Minnesota.
She says she mistook her taser for the gun.
Right.
Accident or not, you don't get paid to make fatal accidents. Yeah, you get paid to do your job correctly, and it's a high intensity, high stress, high responsibility job, just like pilots.
You mistaken your gun
for a taser. And you are a veteran on the
26 years.
26-year vet.
And if I'm not mistaken, when you pull your gun out of the holster, you have to take it off safety.
Listen.
Oh, all right. I just
you already know. You already know. And the taser feels so much different. I have family members and friends, you know, in policing, and they say the same thing. It's hard to mistake that.
Yeah.
But I think what takes over is your intention in that moment. Yeah. You're trying to show a force. And then a guy driving off, you got his information. You know who he is. He lives in the town. Yeah. Go pick him up later.
Yeah.
We come from that era. Like, all right, I'll get you later.
Yeah.
You know, I'll kick in your door if that's what you want. Flashbang. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, we get to break out the toys. You know what I mean? But this is also going to set a precedent for those cases. And I know those cops are worried. And all cops that participate in misconduct willfully, they're worried. Now, the charges won't be the same as Derek Chauvin because what he did was murder. He, with the intent to kill, what he did was, you know, intentional second-degree murder.
Even with the guilty verdict, do you see a change in the way officers treat unarmed blacks?
Not everywhere, because you still have those states where things run a little bit differently. But I think in places like Minnesota, more metropolitan areas, more places that are known for having like education and more like that stuff, New York City with Eric Garner and all that, that's still unfortunate. But if you think about the amount of people in New York City, those stories don't happen as often as they do in places with less population, because they're just, I don't know what it is. I like to say centers of education or people near water or more international diverse cities. Things move forward a little bit better than others. There's still problems everywhere. But I think along these southern states that voted red and that voted a certain way, and that we still see like Proud Boys marching and all that stuff, you're going to see a little bit slower to change. And it's always going to be like that. But I think the world is changing.
do you think that clock will get sped up if unarmed white kid gets killed?
Yes, and people of other nationalities have been killed by the police recently, and they've gotten justice in much smaller, less notable cases over the past few years.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think the clock is getting sped up, and I think with this president and this administration, they're going to start. They're going to take a more active role in dealing, because right now what you have, the problem is in America, you have 50 states and they all do their own thing, and not every state is on the same page. And if this state knows, like, oh, we're going to continue to do what we want, we don't care about the pressure of the world or the rest of the country, we're going to continue to do that. The federal government is like, yo, but when that stuff goes wrong, it sparks problems everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
We can no longer allow this. I think eventually, and this is my answer to it, it's going to have to be federal oversight. You can't say, oh, no, that's up to the local court of Shakamak County, Mississippi. No.
Mm-hmm.
If they get it wrong and the feds come in and do an investigation, everybody should be done.
Everybody should be done.
Everybody should be done.
Mm-hmm.
If you know that there's consequences for getting it wrong and misconduct, and you're like instituting racism through policing and stuff like that, and basically running around like slave catchers, there's got to be a higher level of consequences. Someone has to have jurisdiction over these localities where these people are doing it, where Derek Chauvin's are.
Yeah.
And he had the whole world on his shoulders.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Like I just no, I don't think anyone can imagine this guy almost destroyed Earth.
Yeah.
For what he did a year ago. He's been sitting there holding the weight of the world, and today it just came down on him. And watching him get taken out in those cuffs was sweet.
Yeah.
It was a sweet victory.
Yeah.
And I hope George Floyd's family gets some peace. And I do believe it's a step in the right direction, and someday things are going to change. I don't know how they're going to change, because change takes many forms, man.
Now they just can't botch the sentencing.
They can't. And you know what? In Minnesota seems like a tightly run judicial system.
Yeah.
Because there was a Muslim cop that shot a white woman who was naked.
And he was arrested.
He was arrested and he's in jail. Mm-hmm. He got his prison time. I think this shows Minnesota is at least handing it out evenly.
Yeah.
You're going to get yours. You know, and so we'll see what happens, man. But this was a monumental day. I know you're probably going to talk to your son about it, man. This is the wild times. It felt like watching the OJ verdict.
Yeah.
Because that's when I had to go talk to your granddad.
Yeah.
The day OJ went on a run, my mom was out there talking to your granddad. I had to stand there and listen to it. Because back in our day, when your parents had a conversation, you couldn't go nowhere.
No.
You had to stand there for that whole ass conversation you didn't care about.
Mm-mm.
But this is crazy. Like, this is the world they're seeing. And I think it's good for the young people to come into a world to see fairness.
Yeah.
Because we didn't grow up trusting police.
No.
And we still don't.
Mm-mm.
Maybe they can have a little more trust than we had.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's this was a good show, man. I'm glad we ended it off on that note, man.
Yeah, man.
You know, Black Lives Matter. Fight the powers that be. Be the change that you want to see.
And just don't get banned from Facebook like this.
Yeah, I'm banned from Facebook, y'all. We'll talk about that another episode. We'll talk about it, but I'm glad YouTube was here to host us, man. At least somebody still has a heart. You know what I'm saying? But listen, catch us, follow us on Indio Media Group. It should be available tomorrow when I'm off being banned. We're live on the Indio Media Group YouTube channel. So follow that, like, share. Once again, shout out to Super Dave. Shout out to the Super League.
Yeah, man.
That's a big thing going on in South Jersey. Nice basketball league. And I wanted to expand, man.
Yeah. That's the goal.
I need more competition.
That's the goal.
I need more competition, man. But listen, man, we out, man. Episode 9, we out. Look for it tomorrow. Posted on Facebook on the Indio Media page. Peace.